Since 2000, there has been an increased amount of terrorism in the United States and worldwide. In recent years, such as 2017, there was 1,212 attacks and 8,096 fatalities. That is just last year. And even worse, this year, 2018, there has been 284 attacks worldwide, killing over 1,400 people. And as the years pass, it's only going to get worse if America doesn't do anything about it. The attack that woke the US up was September 11, 2001, when Al-Qaeda hijacked planes and flew them into multiple buildings, killing thousands of Americans. This was devastating to so many people, and that's when people knew an era of terrorism had begun. This resulted in the US fighting overseas against people that used guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is a sort of hit-and-run tactic that most cowards like the terrorist groups use to survive against massive armies that the US provides. When the US takes charge of the global terrorism, it resulted in the USA killing Osama bin Laden and cutting the head off of the snake of Al-Qaeda's forces. This is just one of the great examples that we should be running the show, and when it comes to getting rid of terrorism. Now with a new threat in Europe called ISIS, things are getting very serious. Just this year, 2018, ISIS has performed 66 acts of terrorism, killing 358 people. And throughout the last 5 years, thousands of people are killed just from this one major terrorist group. Most of these attacks happen in Europe, but that doesn't mean we aren't next. The thing to worry about is that ISIS is recruiting and planning attacks constantly, and if we don't stop them, nobody else will. One of the many reasons we should be fighting terrorism on the front lines is because our military is by far the best in the world. The US defense budget is $612 billion. Despite other spending cuts, the United States spends more money on defense than the next 10 highest spending countries combined. America's biggest conventional military advantage is its fleet of 19 aircraft carriers, compared to the 12 carriers operated by the rest of the world combined. These massive carriers allow the US to set up forward operating bases anywhere and project power throughout the world. The US also by far the most aircraft of any country, cutting-edge technology like the Navy's new railgun, a large and well-trained human force, and that's not even counting the world's largest nuclear arsenal.
A few reasons why we should be fighting terrorism and not sitting back is because terrorism and terrorist groups are always growing. As we mentioned previously, ISIS is recruiting and growing rapidly. Not only is ISIS growing, but all other terrorist groups are growing and spreading throughout the world, such as Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, Boko Haram, and Al-Shabaab. They all want different things, but in the end they all cause nothing but death and chaos. Iran is the number one threat in the world because they are an immediate national security threat. It's not only a terrorist state, which means that it is terrorizing its own country and causing problems, but it is the largest sponsor of terrorism in the world. Many groups look at Iran as their home. If we attack Iran and keep an eye on them, it will manage the terrorism threats throughout the nation. The United States began increasing its presence in the Sahel area since 2007. We have been slowly sending troops over there to make sure everything is going well. In the process of that, we have lost many soldiers due to terrorist attacks and events. Not fighting back would simply show weakness, and we could keep on getting attacked, but only in larger cities and more deaths. Many terrorist groups are building across the nation and in cells. It will only be time until another devastating event occurs in the United States. With all the debate that has been going on in our country, it has just been more time for the terrorist groups to build up and plan things out. As we are laying back and not doing anything and arguing about it, if we should go to war on terrorism, it will start to end faster instead of growing rapidly throughout the world.
In conclusion, the thoughts of this debate are that terrorism needs to be stopped, and we are the only ones that can do it effectively. And if we don't do anything about it right now, it's only going to bring more death and more suffering. The US is a superpower, and it's about time we start showing it. And if we do it right the first time, some lives may be shed, but it will be for the better good of the United States and rest of the world. Help fight terrorism by supporting your American troops. Hoorah!